Hi everyone, in this video we are going to make multiple submenu. Like you can see here, we have a submenu, for example, like this and like that. How we are going to make that in React? That is a simple step which you are going to use and understand. Let's go directly in the tutorial and see what we have here. And don't forget to subscribe. Okay, first we have in the file, like you can see that I have three files. One infinite submenu.jsx, I have created that one, and for the menu I have like menu items, which is JSX, which is like Ajax file or AJSON file. You can see that it is label and menu 1 and label 2, menu 2, and here is a submenu, and we have also another submenu which we are going to just integrate that into our UI. Now what I have done in app, I have just called it infinite submenu, and that is how I'm working here. I know that you have a basic like knowledge of React. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to call a function, and I will say that infinite and submenu. Then we are going to return that, and then I will just simply see that if it is working, like hello menu, and export default infinite finite submenu, and I'm going to check that one now. Yeah, it is working. Hello menu. Now what else I'm going to do here, I'm going to make one more div, and I will say that logo name, and one more div here, menu items. Then you can see that it is here. Since I'm using tailwind.css, if you don't know how to install or how to configure, I have already just made a tutorial in my YouTube channel. You can check that one as well, and I'll also link that in comment box below. And therefore we are going to straight directly, I'm going to use the tailwind.css, tailwind css. Okay, now I'm giving background color is gray 900, which you can see that it is 900. The text is here, and the text should be white. I'm giving a little bit css or coloring that. Okay, and it is white, and since it is not in line, therefore we are going to say that flex, and see that it is working now. And padding 5 pixel 5, and gap should be like 5 or 10. Now it's working. We have done everything. What I'm going to do, I just import that menu item to use that here. Okay, now for that I'm going to import menu item, maybe it is capital or small, I don't know. Menu items, capital menu, and items from source, and here is like menu items. Okay, now I'm going to use that one here in menu items, and for that what I'm going to do, menu item dot map, we are going to map that one, and here I'm going to say item and index, and then we simply bring ul, and in ul I have to, or I'm going to simply make a div, one simple div. Okay, and we will see that if it requires ul. Then items dot, we have label and submenu. Okay, you can see that it is label, and in some label we have like submenu. Therefore I'm going to call it as a label, and now you can see that it is working. Now we are going to flex that one as well, because here we have to just put the flex, yeah, here, because we are going to flex the atom. Okay, now class name and simply flex, maybe not this one. We need that class name. Okay, class name and flex, and gap should be 10. Yeah, now it's completely working fine. But how about the submenu? If I'm going to bring the submenu, for example, atom.submenu, then you can see nothing here, because we have a problem here. We don't have submenu here. We have submenu here, and also we have multiple submenu here. Okay, in second menu, and here also we have the third menu and fourth menu. We have also, but in first we don't have. Like in home page, we don't have submenu. Now what I'm going to say that if we have submenu, then it should be display something like maybe ul, or maybe div. I'm going to just going to use the div, and then atom dot submenu, we are going to render that one. It will now work once again. Atom dot submenu, dot map, then we are going to map each that one. Now subatom and subindex, we are going to use that subindex, and then I'm going to come here, and once again li, and in li we are going to bring the subatom, and also the key should be subindex, and we don't use the key here. We also need to use the key here, index, subindex, and subindex atom dot label, subatom dot label, because we have the subatom here also and the label. In subatom, you can see that, and we have the label here as well. Okay, now you can see already here we got everything. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just giving the css style, like removing these in like css style list, and for that in subatom.label li, I have to just make a class name here, class name, and list none. No, we don't know here, but we need to make that here. Okay, class name, list none. It is working now, and also we are going to give like the parent and everything else. What I'm going to do, I'm going to change that div, like I have to make that ul and another list and list item here. Everything is working fine, and then what we are going to do next, we have like here, yeah, gap 10. If I'm going to make that like absolute or relative, and then we have to make that as a absolute. Yeah, it is working, but we don't have background for ul, therefore we have to give background. For example, if I'm going to give it background, maybe that one, you can see it is working. Now what I'm going to do, padding or margin, maybe padding 1, and maybe margin 1, and we also need to give a width width of 120, maybe 120 pixel. Okay, 120 pixel. Just I'm doing a simple CSS style. Okay, and how about, yeah, it is now working, but we don't need that one. It is now completely static. Now what we are going to do, we have to make one new like component. I will say that function submenu, and here I'm going to just call it return, and whatever we need. For example, from here I need everything. I'm going to delete everything from here, and I need that into component. For example, we have submenu, and I'm going to give pros, and which should be like atom, and the key here I'm going to use the key which should be index. Okay, and I'm using that component, and here I'm going to paste everything, and index we don't need that key now, but here we need to use the atom. And now once again coming here, everything is working like exactly the same, but we don't see the multiple submenu. What we are going to do, we are going to remove that portion like atom submenu. Okay, and we are going to call submenu component now here, submenu component, and the atom should be, now what should be the atom, it should be sub atom, and the sub atom I'm using that one here, and the key should be like sub index. And once I'm going to close that tagline, and you can see that the multiple menu is now looking. What I have done, I just call it once again in submenu that whatever we have submenu, it will once again call that one. And whenever we have multiple four level submenu, it has like it has like two level submenu, 1 2. If you have the fourth submenu, it will also display without doing anything. For example, if I'm going to come here and make one more like label, and or either label or submenu, no problem. Okay, submenu, and then we are going to do, first I'm going to maybe call a label or submenu, I don't know, and here, yeah, I'm going to just add these once again. Okay, in that submenu, and here we have done everything fine. Maybe label submenu, and we have submit. Okay, I need label and submenu, submenu, and then we have submenu. We have like submenu, and in submenu we have different like menu. Okay, now what I'm going to do, delete that one. Yeah, and you can see that 1 level, 2 level, 3 level, and 1 level, 2 level, 3 level. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I will come here once again. I have to just make a functionality here as well. Here I'm going to use the const, and for the const I'm going to make is open. If it is open, then set is open is equal to use state, and in use state we have to import state as well, because it is already imported. Doesn't matter, we have to use that one. Okay, and then I'm going to use as a false by default, and now here I'm going to say that if it has submenu and is open, and then show everything here, otherwise don't show that. Now you can see that it is not working, or it is not displaying, because by default it is false. If I'm going to make it true, you can see that it is working. And now once again I'm going to make it as a false. True or false, we are going to just change that one between true or false. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make on mouse enter. Then we are going to call a function and set is open, and when it enters then it should be true, otherwise don't be true. On mouse leave, then what we are going to do, it should be false. Now for example I'm going to use set is open, and here we have false. And once we are going to come here, you can see it is working now. It is working completely. Multiple submenu. And I hope you got the idea there how we are going to work. For example, how we are going to use simply, we have used a component, and in component we are calling the component itself. Therefore, whenever it is giving like the menu, and it is when we are going to roll over in the menu, it is showing all the items in the menu. And two things we are using repeatedly. One is the map, and second is like that use state. That is the main functionality of the React function. If you got the idea, just don't forget to subscribe. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.